When to hire employees for a small business. So I have a lot to say about this. I would say it's one of my top mistakes that I made. There are two big mistakes that I made early in my career. Women tend to do it all the time. Men, you kind of do too. So I'm going to talk about three things. Understand when is the right time to hire. Number two, identifying those key roles and skills for your first hire, or maybe your second and third, because you're going to do a bunch at once. And number three, the common mistakes that you need to know about, and you're going to stay to the end because I'm going to tell you how to pay them. Do you pay them as an IC or an employee? It is critical information. Stay to the end and we'll get right to that point. So understanding the right time to hire. I'm going to say yesterday is probably when you should have done that. So most small businesses, just think about it. A small business takes at least 5 to 7 departments to run. You say, what do you mean departments? Just me. I'm just doing a solopreneur. The minute I hear solopreneur or sole proprietor, I hear suffering because I know you're trying to do it all yourself. And I'm saying the word trying hard, like you try to do it because you need to market, which is get a lead, get somebody interested in what you're doing, which means social media is going to be critical for you. Then you've got to sell them something. Right? So what's your offers, right? We have a funnel. What's your prices? What are you going to offer them? Then you need to do the accounting and cash flow. And right there, I just described to you 3 of the top entrepreneurial skills that are never taught, even in traditional schools. My son graduated with a finance accounting degree, master's of accounting, and was never taught this today, 2023, 24 and forward, kind of marketing, kind of selling, and cash flow. It's taught out of old traditional theory books, which is very cute and useful if you're going to go work for a big corporation. But if you're the small business owner, none of that stuff works. So you have marketing, you have sales, you have accounting. Now you have to fulfill the thing you sold, which means you have operational fulfillment. And you need customer service, which means if you're doing that right, you follow them back to sell them something else. So you move them back into number 2, you sell them, you do the cash flow, you fulfill it, you bring it back, and you do it over and over and over. The other 2 things you're going to need is some technology, some backups, making sure you don't get viruses, all of that kind of stuff. So there's a lot to running a company and you don't have enough skills. Michael Gerber said it best in the E-Myth when the best pie maker in the world wanted to go start a pie shop. Horrible entrepreneur, great pie maker. There's a big difference. So our job here at Integrated Wealth Systems is to teach you to be an amazing entrepreneur and then on to be a millionaire. I'm just grabbing my little book here, grabbing this, which could be 3 to 5 years if you do it right. So hiring when? Do it now. You say, well, who do I hire? Well, not in your like kind, meaning somebody who has your skills, your talents. You don't hire somebody. So like me, I'm the creative, the visionary, great entrepreneur, the management of day-to-day details and all of the SOPs. No. Need to hire it. So that's more of an analyst. So you have to keep your skill sets very, very separate. So you got to hire right away. And I would hire the thing you know the least. And that's probably for a lot of you going to be marketing. Now you say, well, I don't want to sell. I'm going to go hire sales. Well, if you can't sell yourself and your own offers, I don't agree. I think you have to learn to sell it. That's going to create your script. Then you can hire. So that's not your first hire. I'd say marketing. You say, well, no, I need a bookkeeper. There's no money to count. You don't need a bookkeeper till later. And their job is to catch up the history. I don't care if you don't hire a bookkeeper for the first year. They won't be happy because you're going to hand them a year box worth of bank statements and credit card statements and all of that. But they can catch that up. Your first job is to get a lead, get somebody interested in you. So if you don't know how to market, I do want you to go check out this cool link. It's called Ask RMS. So we call it Rapid Marketing Systems. It's exactly the system I use. It's how I produce thousands of leads a month, how I do my social media, how all of this gets generated. Because if no one is actually interested, don't go build it. So one of my famous sayings that I love to say is build it and I guarantee they're not coming. You need to know the process of a pre-order and testing a market and how do you focus group a market through social media and bring in those leads. So I would say number 1, if you are not good at marketing, you've got to put your money right there. So check out Ask RMS for $297. It's pretty simple. We can do that for you. And the other side of it, I'm going to pause there and say, who should I hire first? Well, in my situation, knowing I was going to be a single mom in 1999, I had to hire a nanny. So I needed home help. And a lot of you women, you think that's, stay-home mom gig and kids are going to be running around. Not going to work. I guarantee it. I couldn't get out of my home office fast enough when Logan was born because he knew the hallway where the offices were and he'd sit there all day. I don't care who I had helping and watch him unless they took him outside all day and he would just sit there, mom. It is not, you can't do it. So you're interesting if you can, but I would say the reason you're not making it and making it big into 6 and 7 figures is you're distracted, right? You've got laundry laundry to do, you got cooking to do, you got groceries to do. All that stuff can be hired. So you need to hire home help, ladies and men, if you're a single parent out there. Like, that's got to be your number one hire. Now, identifying the key roles and skill sets. So first of all, what are your skill sets? What's the 3 to 5 things that you want to really strengthen your strengths? And what are the things you absolutely don't want to do? What do you procrastinate? That's a better, conversation. Make a list over the next couple of weeks of all the things you procrastinate, because those are the things you either don't want to do or you don't know how to do, and that's what you need to hire. So you live a procrastination-free life. You strengthen your strengths. You hire your weaknesses. Now let's get to the big point here. How do you afford it? Make more money. So I do want to give you a gift of our Millionaire Intensive, where we give you the opportunity to understand how to build a funnel, how to test the focus group, how to be in a marketplace, how to set your pricing. How do you get this done so you can be up in money right away? Because your first hire could be $2,000, $3,000 a month, could be even $4,000. That's $1,000 a week. Well, you are already losing $1,000 by not making it. So yes, your cash flow feels weird because you're paying somebody else the money you could be bringing in. So double and triple it. Like, we know how to help you. We are the best at it, which is why we are a Millionaire Maker team. So before we go to the last point of hiring mistakes, which are huge, and then how to pay them, I want you to subscribe to our channel. If you haven't already, click that notification button. Be here 5 days a week. It's a family-friendly channel. If you haven't got our journal, the journal's super fun for you and your kids to learn about, organize. And the other thing too is, if your kids are old enough, hire them. Like, if your kids have some good technical skill sets, they probably know more about technology, social media than you do, especially if you're older. And so let them be that job, because then you can write them off. You can get them a Roth IRA. There's all sorts of stuff. We talk about that in the Make Your Kids Millionaires book. But for today, you got to hire, and you got to hire fast, because a lot of you're going to be struggling trying to figure all this out, or doing it yourself, which is completely the wrong answer. So the biggest mistake I see is you wait too long. And number 2 is because you don't understand the cash flow, you don't ramp up your offers fast enough, and then you start delivering versus selling. You can always deliver later. I want you bringing in the money. I want you to set a high target. There's no reason as an adult, 18, 19, 20 years old, you can't be making $8,000 to $10,000 a month. You just have to learn to sell something to an audience that wants it, hence your social media. Now, do you bring them on as an employee or an IC? That's up to you. Depends if they actually only do one thing, if they have their own agency, if they have their own LLC, their own S Corp, their own C Corp. And again, if you're watching this internationally, in principle, it's the same thing. But if they really are going to come to your office and they're going to tell them what to do all day, right, then they probably need to be employed. That is a tax burden on you. It's a bigger tax problem for them. I prefer the independent contractors. I want them to have an LLC. I want to pay a company. I want a company-to-company relationship. But that's up to you. Depends on what you and your accountant will do. I can tell you what ours will do. The last thing I would say is hire people you know. So I go into all sorts of, I've hired from a coffee shop. I've hired from a bar. I'm trying to think where else I've hired from an airplane. I've hired all the time. So I'm always on the hunt for good talent, and post-COVID, people who actually come to work and actually know something that they could help out with. So always know where you're trying to fill. Don't worry about the money so much. So many of you say, I can't afford it. I can't afford it. Well, you have to afford it. Why are you in business if you're just going to create yourself a job that you don't even know how to do half of the things? That's just a miserable life. You might as well stay employed, have a little side hustle so you can have the tax benefits, and we go that way. So you're going to learn all this at the Millionaire Intensive. I expect to see you there, so make sure you grab those 2 tickets for free. And if you have any questions at any time, go to askloral.com, ASKLORAL, askloral.com, and ask a question, make a request. We're here every day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.